Hello friends, today I will discuss the Swinburne test. There is another name for this segregated test. There is another name, that is no load test on DC shunt motor. So what is the aim of this Swinburne test? So the aim of this is to know what is the constant loss in the DC shunt motor by conducting no load test on it. And we use that constant loss in this DC shunt motor for calculating the efficiency of the DC machine when it acts as a DC motor at desired load without actually loading. The third one is to know the efficiency of the DC machine when it acts as a generator without actual loading at desired load. So here the assumptions are: number one is the temperature rise at load condition is neglected. Number two is stray losses under load condition is not considered. Number three is its output power is 0 under no load condition. And the fourth one is we assume here the input power is equal to the total losses under no load condition. So these are the four assumptions. Based on this, we try to analyze this Swinburne test. So in the Swinburne test, first we have to keep the DC shunt motor under no load condition, that is without connecting any load to that. This is the armature of the DC shunt motor, and this is the shunt field winding of the DC shunt motor, and this is the rheostat connected in series with the shunt field, and this is the DC supply, and this is the 3-point starter, and we kept here the meters. This is one ammeter, this is another ammeter, this is another, this is voltmeter. So here we have to apply a rated voltage to this DC motor and then vary this rheostat so that the motor runs at rated speed. So these are the two conditions to be satisfied under no load condition of the DC shunt motor. Then we note down the meter readings. So because it is a motor, input power is known, that is the applied voltage and the input current. Here the input current is represented as I0, and the current that flows under no load condition to the armature we are calling as IA0, and the field current that flows under no load condition is ISH. So having known all these meter readings, now we can calculate what is the constant loss. So before we calculate the constant loss, let me discuss about various losses that we normally encounter in the DC machines. Here total copper loss means field copper loss plus armature copper loss. And stray loss means it is nothing but magnetic loss or iron loss plus mechanical loss. And input power means input voltage, that is rated voltage into input current to the motor is I0. So this input power as power assumptions is equal to the all losses, that is total loss, that is IA0 square RA plus ISH square RSH plus magnetic loss plus mechanical loss. So we can say constant loss is nothing but stray loss plus field copper loss. So how do we calculate this constant loss? So by subtracting the armature copper loss at no load from the input power. So this is also nothing but stray loss plus field copper loss. So because this input power minus armature copper loss is convenient. We use this for calculating the constant loss. So constant loss is nothing but input power, that is V into I naught, minus armature copper loss under no load condition. So under no load condition, the armature current is IA naught square into RA. RA is nothing but the armature resistance. So we know the constant loss from this test, and we are going to use this constant loss for further analysis of the DC machine at various conditions. So the purpose of the Swinburne test is to calculate the constant loss. So this is achieved. Next, suppose we want to know this DC machine when it acts as a motor at full load condition, what is the efficiency? So to know the full load efficiency of the DC machine when it acts as a motor, first draw the diagram like this. So under full load condition, we assume that the input current or the full load current is nothing but IL, and the full load armature current is IA, and whereas the field current we call this as ISH. So our aim is to know what is the efficiency of this DC motor at full load condition. To get that, the following steps have to be followed. So number one is, first of all, under this new condition, we have to calculate what is the armature copper loss. And then we have to calculate what is the total loss, that is constant loss, which is obtained with the help of Swinburne test, plus armature copper loss, which is calculated just now under these new conditions. So we know the total loss, and this is motor, so we can calculate what is the input power. Input power is V into IL. So next, output power. So output power we calculate by subtracting the total loss from the input power. So once we know the input power and the total loss, so we can calculate what is the output power under new conditions, that is input power VIL minus total loss, that is WC plus armature copper loss under the new conditions. So once we know the input power and the output power, we can calculate what is the efficiency. So these are the 5 steps to be followed to calculate the efficiency of the DC machine when it acts as a motor. So since we are considering the case of DC shunt motor operating with full load current, so we have to use those values, that is full load current we say that is IL, and armature current is IA is equal to IL minus ISH, and the armature copper loss is nothing but IA square RA under full load conditions, and we already calculated what is the constant loss from the Swinburne test. So now we can calculate what is the input power to the motor at full load, that is V into IL. So and the total loss at full load is WC plus IA square RA. So now we can calculate what is the output at this condition by subtracting the total loss from the input power, that is VIL minus WC plus IA square RA. So we know the output and we know the input. So we can calculate what is the efficiency of the motor at full load condition, that is eta M is equal to output, that is VIL minus WC plus copper loss of the armature at full load conditions divided by input power, that is V into IL. So this output power at full load we can represent as PFLO, and whereas input power we represent P suffix FLI. So if you want to know the percentage, multiply with 100. So this is how we calculate the efficiency of the DC motor when it takes the full load current. The same thing we can apply to the same motor if it is taking half full load current, or when it is operating at half full load current, that is the half full load current is I half into IL. So here also we follow the same steps to calculate the efficiency of the DC motor under the new conditions. That is, first we have to calculate the armature copper loss, then we have to calculate total loss, that is constant loss which is obtained from the Swinburne test, plus armature copper loss in this new condition. Then we have to calculate what is the input power, then we have to calculate output power, then we have to calculate efficiency. So here half load armature current we represent as IA1, and we know the input current under half load conditions, that is half into IL, and the field current is ISH. So we get the armature current at half full load. Once we know the armature current at half full load, we can calculate what is the armature copper loss at half full load, that is Ia1 square into Ra, where Ra is the armature resistance. So input power to the motor at half full load is nothing but half into IL into V, so that we can write half V IL. And output power at half full load condition is nothing but V into, that is rated input voltage, into half full load current, that is IL by 2. This is input, minus total loss, that is WC plus Ia1 square into Ra. So we know what is the input, what is the output. Now we can calculate what is the efficiency of this DC motor at half full load, that is output divided by input into 100 to get the efficiency in the percentage. That is, so output just now we have calculated, that is nothing but this VIL by 2 minus WC plus Ia1 square Ra divided by, so input, that is half into VIL. So next, this is how we calculate when the DC machine acts as a DC motor and works at full load, and when it works as at full half load. So we have seen efficiency at half full load and full load. Now let us go to the second case, that is, if this DC machine acts as a generator and supplying full load current to the load. So in this case also we have to draw the diagram first to apply this method. So for generator, this is the generator armature, so which generates the voltage and finally supplies the power to the load. So this is so here to calculate the efficiency of DC machine when it acts as a generator and supplying the full load current to the load, the circuit becomes like this. This is the generator armature, this is the generator field winding, and this is the variable rheostat connected in series with this, and then this is the 3-point starter, and we are assuming here the armature current at under rated condition, it is Ia, and the current that flows through the shunt field winding is ISH, and the current that flows to the DC load is IL, and the voltage across the load is capital V. This is also a rated value. So having known all the values of current and the voltages in the circuit, so we can calculate what is the armature copper loss in this as usual. Then, and we have to calculate what is the total loss, that is add the constant loss which is obtained from the Swinburne test to the armature copper loss. Next, once you know the total loss, then we can calculate what is the output power. Output power is nothing but load power, that is this V into this IL is nothing but output power. Then what is the input power? Input power is nothing but output plus all losses, that is WC plus armature copper loss. So once we know the output power and the input power, so then we can calculate what is the efficiency. The same thing we discuss here. So this is the generator, and so if you look at this, so the current emanates from the armature, and that will be distributed into two parts. One is field current, the other is load current. So IA is equal to ISH plus IL. That is the current equation for this circuit. So the full load current is IL and armature current is nothing but IA, which is equal to IL plus ISH under full load condition. So now we can calculate what is the armature copper loss at full load, that is Ia square into Ra, where Ra is the armature resistance of the motor or generator. So then constant loss at full load, it does not change with the load as per our assumption, so which is calculated in the Swinburne test, so we call that as WC. So we know the constant loss and we also know the what is the armature copper loss under full load condition. So we can calculate what is the output of the generator, what is the input of the generator. So input to the generator is nothing but output plus total loss at full load condition. So what is the output? Just now we have seen that that is nothing but V into IL plus total loss. Total loss is nothing but WC plus IA square RA. So we know the input and we know the output. So we can calculate what is the efficiency in percentage like this. Efficiency of the DC machine when it acts as a generator supplying full load current to the load. So then we can write eta G is equal to output is VIL divided by input is equal to, so that we can represent as PI PL P into P suffix FLO divided by P suffix FLI. So FLO represents the output power, FLI represents input power. So if you multiply that with 100, then we can get the efficiency of the generator at full load conditions. Suppose the same treatment is extended when the generator supplies only half full load current. Then also we can calculate what is the efficiency of the generator. The steps are same. That is, first of all we have to calculate what is the armature copper loss under half full load condition. Then we have to calculate what is the total loss, that is adding the constant loss which is obtained from the Swinburne test to the armature copper loss here. So then we calculate what is the output power, that is nothing but V into half full load current. So input power means output plus total loss. Then we calculate efficiency by dividing the output with the input. So if you want to calculate the efficiency in percentage, you have to multiply that output by input power into 100. So now let us apply this procedure for this generator operating at half full load. So at half full load, so the full load current is IL, the half full load means half IL. So then armature current at half full load is nothing but we are taking that as IA1, so that we can calculate as half IL plus ISH. So then armature copper loss at a half full load is nothing but armature copper loss, armature current at full load, that is Ia1 whole square into Ra, where Ra is the armature resistance of the generator. So we know the armature copper loss at half full load, and we already know what is the constant loss of the DC machine from this Swinburne test. So we can write output power of the generator at half full load, that is PFLO is equal to half into V into IL or V into half IL. So we know the output, we know the losses, so we can calculate what is the input power to the generator at half full load, that is P half FLI, that is output plus total loss at half full load. So what is the output of full load, that is half into V into IL, so plus, so total loss means the constant loss plus the half full load armature current whole square, that is Ia1 square into Ra. So we know the input and we know the output. So we can calculate what is the efficiency of the DC generator at half full load. That is eta G is equal to P half FLO divided by half P. P half FLI into 100. So once we substitute that value, so we write like this. Half VIL is nothing but the output power, and we know what is the input power from this. So once we substitute that value here and multiply the with 100, then we get the efficiency of the DC generator at half full load condition. So let me summarize once again that with the help of spin burn test, we could be able to find the what is the constant loss under no load condition of the shunt motor, and then we have observed that how to calculate the efficiency of the DC machine when it acts as a motor at full load condition and at half full load condition, and this is totally calculation. We are not actually loading the motor, we are just doing calculations. Similarly, we have seen how the generator efficiency can be calculated at different loads, that is at half full load and full load, without actually connecting the load to the DC generator. So with the Swinburne test, for any motor or for any generator, so if we calculate the constant loss, we can calculate the efficiency of that DC motor or DC generator at any desired load. So this is the major advantage with the Swinburne test. The major disadvantage with this is it will not consider the temperature rise of the machine, so that is the disadvantage with this.